Hey boys and girls, I'm back with another video for you. We've been practicing using DMSBR to help us divide. If you can't remember the letters that you're supposed to write on your paper, just sing the song to yourself, or just remember Dad, Mom, Sister, Brother, Rover, and they're all in the family. So Dad is divide, Mom multiply, Sister subtract, Brother bring down, Rover repeat or remainder. So our first step is to divide, and whenever we're dividing, we're going to use our divisor, which is on the outside of our little house here. The number on the inside is our dividend, so you're always going to be dividing the divisor into your dividend. So when we start, we ask ourselves, how many times will 4 go into 9? Or we can also ask ourselves, 4 times what will equal a number that is close to 9 without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 2 is 8. And 4 times 3 is 12. 12 is too big, so I know I'm going to use 2. And I'm going to put the 2 right above our 9. I can check off that I divided. And so all this means is that I can make 2 groups of 4 if I have 9 objects. In my next step, I'm going to multiply. And remember, when you multiply, you're always multiplying again your divisor here times the digit you just wrote in your quotient. We just wrote down our 2, so we're going to multiply 2 times 4 is 8, and we're going to write that right underneath our 9 where we just divided into. Our next step is to subtract, so I'm just going to subtract these two numbers. 9 minus 8 is 1. Then we're going to bring down, and we are only bringing down one digit at a time, so I'm going to bring down my 8. And then we get to repeat or remainder. So we have a few questions that we're going to ask ourselves. First, do we have any other digits to bring down? If we do, we're going to have to repeat. We can't be done. And that is the case here. But I can also ask myself, is my remainder, 18, larger than my divisor? And it is, so that means I also have to continue. I also have 2 blank spaces above in my quotient. I don't have a digit in the tens place, and I don't have a digit in the ones place. So all 3 of those things indicate to me that I need to repeat. So I'm going to go back up to divide. And now, when I divide, I'm still using this 4, but I'm only going to divide into my number that's the furthest down on the page. So now I'm going to divide into 18. So I ask myself, 4 goes into 18 how many times? Or 4 times what number equals a number that is close to 18 without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 4 is 16, and that's the closest I can get. So I'm going to write my 4 for 4 times 4. 4 goes into 18 4 times right up here above my 8. Then check mark. And then we're going to multiply. So I have 4, the digit I just wrote up on top, times my divisor, 4 equals 16. And then we subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0, so we don't have to write that. Then again, we're going to bring down. We're going to bring down my 7. So now my 2 becomes 27. And again, I'm going to ask myself the repeat and remainder questions. 1, do I have any other digits to bring down? Well, I don't, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm done. Is my remainder bigger than my divisor? Yes, it is. 27 is larger than 4, so that means I would have to repeat. I also know I have to repeat because I don't have a digit in the ones place here. So back up to divide again. And again, I'm using the number that's furthest down on my page, dividing it by my divisor. So how many times will 4 go into 27? Or 4 times what number is close to, equals a number that is close to 27? Well, I know that 4 times 7 is 28. Well, that's too big. So let's try 4 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24, and that's not too big. So I can put a 6 up top, and I just divided. Then I'm going to multiply. My next step is to multiply the digit I just wrote on top, which is a 6, times the digit I wrote on, or my divisor. 6 times 4 is 24. And then I subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 2 minus 2 is nothing. I don't have anything left to bring down, so I can just check that off. And then I'm left with repeat or remainder. So again, I ask myself the questions. Do I have anything left to bring down? No. Is my remainder bigger than my divisor? No. Do I have all my spaces or places in my quotient filled? Yes. All of those things tell me that I am done. So this I have solved in my quotient, and I've got to move my remainder up here. You always got to remember to put that little r in your remainder. The only time you don't put that is if your remainder is 0. To check, to make sure we have the correct quotient, we're going to use the inverse or the opposite operation, which is multiplication. We take our quotient, 246, we multiply it by 4. 6 times 4 is 24, carry my 2. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 2 is 18, carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And then we have to remember we have to add in our remainder. 4 plus 3 is 7, 8 plus nothing is 8, 9 plus nothing is 9. And I know it's correct because this 987 matches my dividend. Okay, I'm going to show you one more problem. This one has a little bit more of a trick to it. Again, I need my dad, mom, sister, brother, Rover. I'm going to I'm going to start with my divide. I'm going to divide 3 into 2. Well, this 2 is smaller than my 3. I cannot break this 2 up into even groups of 3. So instead of dividing into 3, I'm going to move over and I'm going to divide into 21. So I can ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 21, or 3 times what gives me a number that's equal to or less than 21? 3 goes into 21 7 times. That's my division step. Then I'm going to multiply the digit I just wrote on top. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract 21 minus 21 is 0. Bring down our 7. Repeat our remainder. Well, I know I have to repeat for a couple of reasons. I don't have anything in the ones place up here, and I also, my divisor is smaller than my remainder. So I'm going to divide again, and I ask myself, how many times does 3 go into 7? Well, 3 times 2 equals the number that is close to 7. I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. I don't have anything left to bring down, so I ask myself, repeat or remainder. And I know I've got a remainder because my remainder is less than my divisor, and I don't have any places left in my quotient. To check, we're going to take, oops, I forgot to write my remainder up there. Take our quotient, 72, multiply it by our divisor. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 7 is 21. And we have to add in our remainder of 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 1 plus nothing is 1. 2 plus nothing is 2. If you need a little extra practice, there's a great app that you can get on the App Store on iTunes. It's called Division for Kids, and it'll walk you through all the steps and it'll provide the problems so you get a little extra practice. I hope this helps. Thanks.